Time and space.
Hello,
Welcome to Doctor Who Time and Space
a weekly podcast about Doctor Who.
and all the Doctor Who related stuff that has been out in the week.
Okay, I'm Daddy Cool.
And I'm Lewis Moon. Welcome.
Welcome.
If this is your first podcast, then you're into a thrill, as we'll be reviewing the third episode of Series 8, Robot of Sherwood.
Ooh, that's our opinion section.
What
We
other
also have news, both stuff that's going on in the Whoniverse and also what's going on
the Miss Lewis Mooniverse?
the Mooniverse. Yeah,
I made that up last week.
yeah, which is basically your YouTube channel and website. What else we got?
Also, we've got best loves in Who, like best love stories in Who, basically.
Okay.
We've got. Oh wait, yeah.
No, sorry.
You carry on.
No, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh, quiz or question.
Quiz or question, and also we'll have a bit of a preview for tonight's episode. Listen.
And while we're doing this podcast, just to say, are we really doing it with two people?
You mean there might be people listening?
Yes, there might be.
There might be.
There might be.
I did think I just heard a knock on the door.
Yeah.
What could it be? So, what should we start with? Should we start with opinion? Hello?
Oh, there's no one there, don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with opinion. So, the well, no, I almost said deep breath then. Robot of Sherwood. What did you think of it?
Okay. Well, what should we start with first of all? Just a general opinion?
Yeah, just the general.
I thought it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
A lot of laughs in it.
Yeah.
A lot of really good character plays. I thought. Well, we'll come on to perhaps the characters in a minute. I thought it was possibly, because it was more light-hearted, it felt more of a Matt Smith, or actually probably even more so a David Tennant type episode than a Pete Capaldi one.
Because you've been looking at some of the David Tennants and thinking that he's a bit too jokey, as you told us last week in Girl in the Fireplace.
A bit foppish.
Yeah, a bit foppish. I like that word.
So it felt more like one of those sorts of episodes. But having said that, I thought the opening bits when he first was there, not believing in Robin Hood, was fantastic. I thought there were some really, really great lines in there, some really funny lines. What was your general view?
We thought that before the episode was on, we thought, oh, this is going to be one of those rubbish ones, which are the historical ones which they tried to make good, but are actually not that good.
You're not so keen on the historical ones, generally?
No, not really a keen per. The best historical one, as we said last week, is the Vincent one. It's very emotional and moving.
One of the best endings, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, I thought it was better than we actually thought, because it had some very great moments, and almost, in my opinion, when it finished, I was thinking this is almost as good as Into the Dalek. I don't know why, but I just think they're about the same sort of level in my sort of opinion of what ones I like.
I think they're both quite different from each other.
Yeah.
And I think Into the Dalek will be an episode that people will watch a lot afterwards and will think, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
Whereas I think probably the Robot of Sherwood one may be more of a one-time viewing, possibly.
Yeah. Maybe a few times, because I never get bored of an episode. Even the Twin Dilemma, if I watch it about a billion times, I still don't. Well, I still want to watch it again because I don't know what's going on in half of it.
Yeah, I mean it's well, I mean, if we were to ask you then, I mean, we've sort of gone through a couple of standard questions in the last few weeks. So, in terms of the opening sequence, what do you make of that?
Yeah, we always do the opening bit. Yeah, I liked the opening sequence. I've got used to the theme tune. Yeah, no, not that opening sequence. But no, I like the opening sequence because it showed the Doctor in the TARDIS, and he was doubting that Clara should go to the medieval times to see Robin Hood because he wasn't real.
That's what made my favourite bit on that was when they actually left the TARDIS, and I can't remember exactly what the Doctor said, but he said there is no Robin Hood and
damsel in distress, no medieval castles or something. Yeah. There's no such thing as Robin Hood.
And then the arrow fired past him, and I can't remember what Robin said now. It was sort of like, do you call my name or something like that. But what I liked about it is, as he said, whatever it was he said, he gave that big wink, and it was the way that the guy played Robin
Tom Riley.
Tom Riley, yeah. The way that he played him was quite cheesy, but deliberately cheesy. And it was because it reminded you in many ways of the old Robin Hood stories, the really old Robin Hood films and programs. It's very hammy, but that made it work really, really well.
Yeah, I liked this episode. Yeah.
And the dialogue between the Doctor and the Merry Men, I thought was really, really good.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was getting annoyed because they were laughing, but they weren't just laughing. It was like really over the top, type laughing, and it was like, that wasn't even funny.
Yeah, that wasn't even funny.
So
that wasn't funny.
The other things that we've usually asked when we've been talking about each of the individual episodes, the villain. What did you make of the baddies?
The Sheriff of Nottingham. Oh, he was really. Ben Miller played him really good.
He was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was really good. And what was really good was the way that he switched from sort of very gentle, quite sort of smoochy, really, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But then he'd suddenly get really angry and aggressive. And
yeah, I liked him. He was
good.
Very good. I thought he was going to turn out to be the Master, and I thought he was a very good actor, and I want to see Ben Miller again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He'd make a good Master, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
We commented, I think, possibly, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or whether it was off air, but we were talking about how he looked like
I think it
like Delgado.
It was on both, I think. I think we did it on the podcast, and I was watching Mind of Evil again this morning, part 2, and Delgado's in that one, playing the Master, and he does look similar to both him and Anthony Ainley. So, just going off topic.
What about the actual robots themselves?
Oh yeah, I thought when they entered the spaceship, I thought they were going to turn out. One of them was going to take like a helmet off and would turn out to be Half-Face. Yeah. I thought Half-Face was going to be back for. When I was watching this episode, I thought he would return. I thought he'd be a robot, one of them.
But there was some links, wasn't there? Because there was the fact that they were also robots that were stuck in time, basically.
Yeah.
As Half-Face had been stuck in time for centuries, didn't it?
Well, going to the story arc in a sec about the Promised Land.
Well, perhaps that links on nicely.
Yeah. So the story arc. This series is Missy and Heaven and all this Gatekeeper of the Nethersphere, like Promised Land stuff, which we're not all sure about this Heaven and where it is and who the hell Missy is. But yeah, so on the spaceship scanner it said destination, the Promised Land, which was also a quote that was said by Half-Face. He kept saying, "I want to go to the Promised Land," as the Promised Land was then mentioned by Missy at the end of Deep Breath as the heaven, basically. So the Promised Land is heaven.
So I mean that was quite quite a sort of surprise, wasn't it? Really, when it flashed up Promised Land on the screen, and you could see that what looked like a fiery planet, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was good. And yeah, I don't really know what to say now, as Daddy Cool's getting a little bit of dinner.
What I mean, we didn't actually see Missy
No.
in this episode, did we?
No.
And I mean, there were people killed, like the sheriff was killed.
We thought, well, I thought the sheriff or Quail was going to be in the heaven at the end of the episode.
But the fact that they didn't,
Yeah.
did that indicate that perhaps this issue of whether or not it's something about sacrifice?
Yeah. So we think in Listen, because it's a Stephen Moffat episode, we think it will be one of those episodes with Heaven in and Missy in. We think she's going to appear again.
Could well be. Again. What did you make of Clara?
Clara, yeah, she looked very pretty, I think.
You did.
Yeah, I like the way she reacted to both Robin Hood and his merry men. She was so surprised at Robin Hood being real.
Yeah, and she was. I thought her reaction to Robin was like fangirl, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She was so excited. It was like first crush.
Yeah.
She really fancied him, didn't she?
Yeah. And also, she was good when she was when the Sheriff of Nottingham was trying to make her queen.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was very good with Ben Miller.
Yeah, no, she was.
Yeah.
That is true.
And yeah, she was very good with Tom Riley as well. And I thought Danny Pink. I think in Danny Pink, if he met Robin Hood, he'd be jealous that he was not like the he's not like the boyfriend anymore.
Yeah, no, that's right. I've returned now. Hopefully you could hear me then, because I was
Yeah,
shouting from the other side of the room.
they probably could.
I was having to shout really
Yeah.
loud. Yeah. So I mean, aside from that, what other comments have we got on the episode? I'll tell you what was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Was when I didn't notice this, but I read about it afterwards in one of the reviews. But when the Doctor was trying to explain to Robin that he wasn't real, and he flashed loads of children's stories, the children's picture books, and shots of Robin Hood, proved that he was actually a fictional character. And one of the pictures that came up was Patrick Troughton playing Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really nice little move, I think, by them. And there's been lots of little hints back to old episodes, I think, hasn't there, so far in this series?
Yeah, I like when they have references back to old episodes, and I like it really.
Do you think then? I mean, what were we meant to make of Robin Hood? Was it in the end that he is just a character that has become fictional? Did exist, but now people just think of him as a story, in the same way as I guess King Arthur and a lot of people, because it's such a long time back. Or was he a robot as well? What's your thoughts?
I think he was real because there was no proof he was a robot. I think Do you think in real life he really exists?
Robin Hood, I think there was probably a character that Robin Hood would have been based on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there would have been a character like Robin Hood at least, but
But I doubt
Robin
you
Hood.
went, aha, oh, hey, and things like that. all the
Yeah,
time.
so that spoilt it, and we might think he's a robot. Maybe he returns at the end, and you find out he's half face or something.
Oh, maybe.
Half face can disguise in human. That would be cool.
What? I mean, is there anything that we should be reading into that episode, or in terms of the overarching story with Missy, or do we think that it's very much a story in its own right?
What do you mean? Look.
Is there anything that we think links in much to the wider picture of the series? Or do you think it's... I mean, there was obviously the bit about the Promised Land.
Yeah.
But aside from that, is it just a standalone episode, do you think?
I think it was a pretty standalone episode. It was more standalone than the last two, I think, even though Into the Dalek was pretty standalone, but I think Deep Breath wasn't that standalone, because I think Half-Face is going to return some point in the series, and I think the part of Nostagag will, so I think there's going to be lots of references in that one, so I don't think that's a standalone, but I think this one was definitely a standalone.
Was there anything you didn't like about the episode?
Not much, no. There hasn't been for the whole of the series, really, to be honest, that I haven't liked. It was the perfect length.
Yeah,
I don't think it was rushed.
No, it wasn't.
But
that's been the case with all of them to me so far.
Well, apart from Into the Dalek.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The only bit I didn't like very much, and so anyone that hasn't seen this is possibly spoil for all the episodes. You can quickly forward on for a few seconds.
Yeah. If you're watching it on the website, by the way, it will say no spoilers if you have not watched Robot Sherwood.
I didn't like that scene. Let me rephrase that. I did like the scene, I just didn't like what they were doing. I didn't like the fact that it all hinged in the end on firing the golden arrow. And the golden arrow was just enough gold to be able to get them far enough up so that when they exploded they didn't actually wipe out the planet. I didn't like that bit with the golden arrow. I did like the bit when they were firing it and they were doing it between the three of them, because none of them could do it single-handedly. That bit was really good. But yeah, I thought the golden arrow bit was a bit silly. But that was about the only thing. Aside from that, I thought it was much fun.
Yeah.
What did you make of the arguments between the Doctor and Robin?
Yeah, I thought they were quite funny. I liked the scene in the cell.
Yeah.
When they were arguing against each other. I like that scene. That might have been my favourite scene in the episode. What was your favourite scene in the episode?
Well, we've always said that, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've had the favourite scene bit. Let me see. I think probably the archery bit when the robot first came in. It was really exciting, I think.
I like that bit.
Robot night.
Yeah.
I really like that. And all the bits with Ben Miller in it, really.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. I really did.
Also, I think the Robot Knights were quite cool because I didn't know that, because in the trailer I thought it was like this rubbish monster which had like a purple thing on him.
Yeah.
But it was like it was explosions. So I liked that because I didn't know it was going to be an explosion.
Yeah.
But not as much explosions as Into the Dalek, definitely.
Do you think there's something about robots trying to get to the Promised Land?
Yes, as you said the other day, it's probably a link that there's robots in like every episode of the series. Wonder if tonight the figure will turn into a robot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Anything else on this particular episode that springs to mind? I mean, what did you make? I mean, it was a completely different sort of role for Peter Capaldi. Do you think he worked in it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think Matt Smith or David Tennant would have fitted more, but he doesn't. Yeah, he does fit a bit.
Yeah.
Not as much as the last two. He doesn't fit as much, but but I think I'd prefer Matt Smith or David Tennant to be in that one.
Yeah,
If I was-
I'd agree. Where do you think it ranks in terms of the Mark Gatiss episodes?
Top.
Yeah, your favourite one.
Yeah, lots of people say that it's the top
Yeah.
or the second.
I actually, although a common point here, but I sort of said throughout the last series that I felt the stories were a bit rushed at times in terms of trying to fit them in 45 minutes. And one of the ones I think was probably the most rushed was Cold War. But that said, I think I still prefer the Cold War. I think that's probably my favourite Mark Gatiss's one.
Oh.
It never came up that high, did it? When you look at the polls from last series, it's fairly low down. But I thought.
One I read on Doctor TV said it was bottom.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Nightmare. And Rings of Akaten was like quite high.
Mm.
Bells of St. John was like second lowest.
Was it?
Yeah, I can't believe that. That was like my second
Yeah.
favourite in that series.
What I thought was quite interesting. I mean, what I've done so far with the episodes is that I've looked through the reviews afterwards, and there was probably a bigger divide with the Robot Sherwood between people that liked it and didn't like it.
Okay.
There was a lot of people saying that was really great, really good fun, really good.
Yeah, lots of people saying that on some of the reviews I've read. Like,
Great romp,
yeah.
that sort of thing. Whereas, but there's probably a sort of even split with other people that were saying, "Oh, that was just silly."
Oh, I hardly read any reviews which said that. There were a few, but.
But I mean, to be fair, a lot of Doctor Who episodes are a bit silly. It is meant to be family entertainment, and they don't want it to be deep and dark and mysterious all the time, do they? It's good to get a balance. And probably what we've done really well, because the one tonight looks like it's going to be a very sinister episode.
Yeah. So, talking about tonight's episode, we've got, as every week, we've got 12 hints and teasers for the episode.
So the episode's called
Listen. I like that, because there's Blink now, there's Listen. So the opening line is Listen.
And there's the line, Where's Wally?
And there's Isn't it bad if I meet myself?
Clara better not think of anything rude this time.
I haven't been called that in years.
Tom Baker's first line. What was Tom Baker's first line? Can you remember?
No.
No.
Sorry. I forgot.
You've got a really weird code in here again, which we read that or not? It's a bit
No.
wrong, isn't it? I think people fall asleep during the podcast when we read that all loud.
Oyster Bab.
Yeah. Hour plus hour years.
Okay. A family heirloom.
Mm.
What do you think of...
What does that mean? What does any of that mean?
Do you know what any of that means? Do you think you know any, like, things about it?
I really don't know what to expect. I mean, a lot of people have said maybe this is going to be the new Blink.
Yeah.
So, but you could say, was Deep Breath the new Blink?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't about not blinking, it was about not breathing.
Yeah, and it's a very similar plot, but just with a different feeling.
Yeah.
For your,
that's right.
for your like things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe the next one will be about touch.
Yeah.
Don't touch. Look, but don't touch.
And then the Weeping Angels come along.
Yeah.
And then Half-Face walks along.
Who knows? Are we on to the news, or are we talking about listening? Yeah. So
the caretaker.
You have to remind me. So where are we at the moment? So we're on episode 4 tonight.
Yeah.
So the caretaker is episode
6.
Okay, so a few weeks off, yeah.
And it's written by Gareth Roberts and Stephen Moffat, so that means it's probably another Missy episode, because the next 3 episodes are either written or co-written by Stephen Moffat.
Okay.
So I think Missy will be in the next 3 episodes.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds
So the terrifying. Oh.
Oops, sorry about that. Knocked you there.
The terrifying Scorvox Blitzer is ready to destroy all humanity. But worse, and any second now, Danny Pink and the Doctor are going to meet. When terrifying events threaten Coal Hill School, the Doctor decides to go undercover. What do you think of that, Mr. Daddy Cool?
It sounds very exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, Schoolbox Blitzer. Do you think that's this robot thing with
More
the blue
robots.
eyes?
More
Yeah.
robots.
Time Heist has got the thing that the teller which can detect guilt. I think that'll be a robot. I think that guy with the sticky eyes will be a robot. So tonight might be the only one out of the first 6 which doesn't have a robot.
Yes.
But there might be a robot.
Could be interesting, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Gareth Roberts, is he a new writer for Doctor Who? Or has he written before?
He's written a few before, but I can't remember which ones now.
Right.
Sorry, my mind's going a bit weird today.
No, that's alright. My mind's always a bit weird.
I think he wrote The Lodger.
Yeah. Have we got any other news this week?
Yes, we've got quite a lot more.
Really? It's quite a lot. Because normally you find that once a series is actually out, you don't hear too much, do you?
Yeah, but last week we had like a half an hour session of news.
Yeah.
So is Capaldi's accent causing issues?
Okay.
Tell us a bit more.
Well, there's a number of viewers, mostly American ones, who say they're having to use subtitles or rewind scenes to understand the latest Doctor. The US-based speech and dialect coach, Patricia Fletcher, gave her opinion on the matter. I do not believe it is purely the accent that is throwing off the American audience. The actor often speaks very quickly, with a staccato rhythm, and without enough attention to articulating through to the end of his thought or line. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
This does promote the character choice of Doctor Who being sharp and quick thinking, but does not help us understand what the Doctor is actually saying or thinking. British linguistics expert Professor David Crystal thinks it is not just isolated to overseas viewers. There was the odd moment when I struggled to hear exactly what he was saying, but I don't think this is exclusively a US problem.
I thought that in Deep Breath at the beginning. I didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah. So it's not just a matter of accent. Speed of speech and volume are factors too, especially when there's a lot of background noise. A mild Scots accent seems to cause no problem. So, for instance, they use the example of Sean Connery. But broad accents may need subtitling. And again, they use the example of train spotting.
Talking about Doctor Deep Breath, it was impossible to put the subtitles on, as it was the only one that I would have needed subtitles for at the beginning, but it was no subtitles as it was in the cinema. Can't put subtitles on.
No, that's true.
No.
I haven't really found it much of a struggle, and to be honest, I always struggle with accents. I'm rubbish with accents. People have got even the mildest of accent, I struggle to hear them. So, what's next on our news?
Face Off, the Gatiss episodes. So here we can vote the best Mark Gatiss episodes in the entire history of Mark Gatiss episodes.
So we preempted this with our discussion a minute ago, didn't we?
Yes, so we've got The Unquiet Dead up to The Robot of Sherwood. So do you want to tell us the candidates?
Okay. Well, this is a poll that's on doc2tv.co.uk if anyone wants to vote for it. But we've got in 2005, The Unquiet Dead, The Idiot's Lantern, Victory of the Daleks, Night Terrors, Cold War, The Crimson Horror, and Robot of Sherwood. Now, you've already told me that Robot of Sherwood is your favourite.
But what's yours?
My favourite's probably The Cold War out of that.
Should I vote?
What I was gonna say to you before you pick anything on it.
Yeah.
If Robot of Sherwood hadn't been made, what would be your favourite Mark Gatiss? So what's your second favourite, basically?
A Cold War, probably, actually.
Yeah.
Then Crimson Horror.
Yeah.
Then,
I've not seen The Unquiet Dead, I don't think. Have I?
really have. It's the one with Dickens.
Ah, yeah. Well, I've definitely not seen The Idiot's Lantern then.
Yeah.
That's
the one with Poir.
Yeah.
But she's called Nan in that.
Yeah. I've not actually seen. Probably actually a big chunk of the Tennant ones I've not seen.
Oh, look at it on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I'm voting for Robot of Sherwood. Okay,
Yeah, so we've got no answers yet on this one, so I guess we'll come back next week and give our give our update on that as to where it's come on.
Yeah, remember, if you want to vote, then go to Doctor TV.
Oh.
Now, Jenna Coleman spoke to the Radio Times in their new issue. Filming on the Christmas special is now taking place, but Jenna Coleman is refusing to confirm any involvement beyond Series 8. She told the Radio Times the reason why it is that it would spoil a surprise coming up. There's lots of rumours. We've sat down with showrunner Stephen Moffat and we've all decided we don't want anyone to know which way it's going. Adding, if you know I'm in the next series, or if you know I'm off, you'll know how the story ends.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And also it says there's a surprise we've got coming. It's much better that nobody knows which way it's going to go. So that's where we're trying to keep it at the moment. In the same article, Jenna says, I've been working too hard. There's not even time for auditions or anything. I'm filming till October. On Series 9, they'll begin filming in January.
Series 9. So that's hardly any race at all, then, is it?
No.
Well, certainly for Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's probably very energetic because he's a really Doctor Who-y fan.
I think he'd work every day of the year on it, don't you?
He'd work in every day of the universe for Doctor Who, I thought.
So last week we talked about the poll on Into the Dalek, which was whether or not Into the Dalek was better than Deep Breath.
Dalek.
Yeah, that's
It
it.
was better than Deep Breath, you said.
Into the Dalek, was it better than Deep Breath?
Dalek.
That was
it
it.
better than Dalek?
Oh, was it? Okay. Sorry.
So, out of 10, most people said it was 8 out of 10. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
I might have said 9, but I don't know. Then it said 9, then it was 10, then it was 7, then it was 6, then it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So only 1% hated it.
Yeah.
So the other poll then. Oh no, sorry. What I was looking at wasn't the poll. It was saying about. I misread it. It was comparing the votes for Deep Breath as against the vote for Into the Dalek. So Deep Breath had an average of 8.2.82. Into the Dalek had an average of 8.052. So that would seem to indicate that people very, very slightly prefer Deep Breath than Into the Dalek.
Dalek versus Into the Dalek. Dalek or Into the Dalek, most people said Dalek.
I would have said
disagree.
Into the Dalek.
Yes, I'd say Into the Dalek, but
there we have it. But it was 61.78% in favour of Dalek.
Yes, if anyone wanted to know. So can you give us a few opinions on what people said?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that's not the right one. Sorry, that's not the right one.
Okay.
I'll do that in a sec. Well, wait a minute. Here it is, the one that I wanted to read the comments out on.
So this is people. What were people's general views of Robot Sherwood?
Yes, and so what do you wanna? You can read out some things about.
Okay. The first person on here said. The dialogue is some of the finest written for the Doctor. The exchanges between all the main characters are some of the best and funniest. The feisty Doctor who hates laughter was a lovely touch. I really liked that actually.
Yeah.
I really liked the stop laughing comments.
What's it doing?
Yeah, no, the screen's gone fine. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. There we are. The next person said, not as good as the previous 2 episodes. Great fun episode. Marcus is outrageous as ever with the characters being so comedic. I particularly like the robot's helmet design. Thought it was a very classic style, like the spoon sword fight, something the 7th Doctor may have done, and Ben Miller was fantastic. Somebody else said it was fun. There were some things that bothered me, like the addition of bomb to the insanely high amount of things, the magic. I mean, something Screwdriver could do. And the arrow at the end was, yeah. So somebody agreed with me there about the arrow. But they're saying that most of it was fun, and one of the main reasons I watched it too, because it's fun. Next person said fairly top. Ending was a bit pants. So I think again they're talking about the arrow bit there.
Yeah.
I liked Robin. I liked the banter. I liked the idea. I liked the robots. I did not like the impossible arrow ending.
It's the same person.
Yeah, it is the same person. Yeah. I had a wonderful time right up to the moment that Doctor and Robin found the spaceship. So Robin was awfully calm for a medieval man, turning suddenly into a very futuristic spaceship filled with robot monsters and databanks that treated him like a fairy tale. Yeah, that's fair point, but I don't think that was really the point of it. Personally, I think it was meant to be light touching. I didn't want it to be becoming too deep and serious an adventure. So
that's it. What next? What's
next up? We've got so we've done our news section. We're probably onto our bit where we talk about the best bits.
What do we best? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
best romantic.
Oh yeah, best love stories in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
One of the best has to be Amy and Rory. It's always a classic sort of love story that you think of when you're thinking of love in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Now.
And that started off. I mean, that got stronger probably as the series went on, didn't it?
Yeah.
So you think to start with, it was very much. You weren't really sure whether she did like Rory that much. She was perhaps more taken by the Doctor.
Yeah.
And I guess there was always a little bit of a battle between the Doctor and Rory.
It's a bit like if Danny Pink came along when Matt Smith's Doctor was still around, and there'd be a little bit of a battle.
A bit of a tension, or if he was thrust into the same area as Robin and Clara.
Yeah.
Who would win, Danny Pink or Robin?
Probably Robin Hood, because he's a legend for Clara.
Certainly if it came down to an archery contest.
Yes, definitely. Robin Hood would be... Robin Hood would score it easily, and Danny would be like, oh, sorry, I can't do this archery contest, I'm reading.
Yeah. What about in terms of Doctor? Do you think... I mean, we were watching, midweek, we were watching I've got the names in now, the Impossible Planet and
Satan
Bit. And within that, it seemed to indicate a little bit of romance between the David Tennant Doctor and Rose.
Yeah.
I think she sort of has a bit of a crush on him. Really.
Yeah, and Mark the same.
Yeah. With
10th Doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
How many loves do you think there is between the Doctor and... also, he fell in love a bit with Grace Holloway.
Yeah, true. I guess that was probably the first time, really, wasn't there, where there was any romantic link. Before that, they'd always been quite standoffish, really, between the companion and the Doctor.
Yeah. Christopher Eccleston, did he have... like?
I mean, Rose sort of liked him, but I don't think... I never got the impression that Rose fancied the Christopher Eccleston Doctor. I think that came to the Tennant one. I think they were like mates.
Yeah, not best mates, not kissy.
Yeah.
Like Clara is with the new Doctor played by Peter Capaldi.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's right. That's probably probably quite a good comparison.
Yeah.
Other love stories. I mean, going back to the very first episode, I guess teachers.
Yes. Ian and Barbara.
Mm.
Yeah, they were in love. If you think about it, sometimes.
Mm.
But yeah, they were travelling together. They were teachers at the same school, Coal Hill School, which stars in the new series in Into the Dalek, Listen, and The Caretaker, and maybe some others.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What about then? Can you give some details of companions that have left because of love? Is there many?
Yeah, there was Susan, which she didn't really want to leave because of love, but she didn't really want to leave at all. And this was because the Doctor forced her out of the TARDIS because he wanted her to live a ordinary life with I forgot his name now. but with his boyfriend, a new boyfriend which he'd met in the Dalek invasion of Earth.
Well,
So,
others.
pardon?
Are there others as well?
Not really. There are a few.
What about Leela? Why did she leave?
She left just because she thought Gallifrey was a good home. She thought it was.
Alright, so not a love interest there.
No. Well, yeah, it was a love interest to think about it because of Andred, which she fell in love with in the end. It was a love interest. Yes. Sorry, I was wrong.
What about Perry?
She died, but then you found out that she didn't die, and it was she did fall in love with Brian Blessed's King Euchronos.
Who couldn't fall in love with Brian Blessed?
Yeah.
And his loud, shouty voice.
Ooh! No. I am Brian! No, that sounds a bit like a loud Tom Baker.
So, what's your favourite romance?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think Rory and Amy probably.
Yeah, because it grows along. Series 7, it's the strongest.
Yeah.
But I think it's also it's a very good love story, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah. Should we go on to listen?
Yes.
So listen. What do you think's going to happen in it?
Well, the indications from the trailer is that it's going to be quite a creepy one.
Yeah, we didn't know this until because I was thinking that it was going to be kind of a quite peaceful episode, a quite calm episode. But I was sitting down, then I looked at the next time, and it looked really creepy. But yeah, what do you think? Yes, what do you think's going to happen in it? Do you think this episode will bring the return of the monster?
I think it'd bring Missy back in.
Yes.
It'd be interesting because last time when we thought there was going to be a really creepy episode was probably last series with Hyde,
Yeah.
where a lot of that gave the indication of a sort of ghosts. And
Yeah.
as we know, it didn't turn out to be a ghost at all, did it?
No.
So it was, the first half was a little bit creepy, second half certainly wasn't.
It turned out to be a love story, going back to the love story.
That is true, it did turn out to be a love story. Yeah.
And that, I didn't really expect that. So I like stories where you don't expect something which will happen, and I think this story might have a few of those bits.
What I'm thinking of, because I mean the bits from the hints that we've seen so far in terms of the trailers and everything, after this whole thing of you're never alone, I wonder whether it's a bit of a play on the whole idea that everybody's got a guardian angel looking over them, but perhaps that not all the guardian angels are good.
Yeah.
Perhaps not all of them are guardians. Perhaps some of them are bad angels.
Galaxy.
Perhaps some of them are bad angels.
Perhaps they're not guardians of the galaxy.
Maybe they're not, or maybe they're not. But maybe a guardian angel is a bit schizophrenic.
Yeah.
So sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So maybe it depends what sort of a person you are. Maybe if you're a good person, maybe that's why the Doctor was asking, "Am I a good man?" Because he doesn't want a bad kind of shadow.
Well, a lot of people say when they're talking about ghosts that ghosts' activity becomes stronger when people are in like funny moods or stressy or arguing and fiddling and stuff like that. And then when people are feeling down, there's a sort of darker energy around.
Yeah.
So maybe again that's something linked to that.
Yeah.
And maybe a guardian angel can turn dark.
Yeah.
Or maybe we don't know what we're talking about. We'll find out in it. The fun thing about the timing of this particular podcast that we do is that it goes out about 2-3 hours before the show's on, and people tend to listen to it quite often probably on Sunday, I think, looking at where the viewers go. So by that time we'll be talking like we are now, and everyone's probably there having a good chuckle at how wrong we were.
Yeah. Because I sometimes listen to a bit back and look at how wrong we were.
But,
But
you see,
that
but
doesn't
we
matter.
don't care, do we?
Yeah,
So,
we don't mind.
It's brave,
If
yeah.
you're listening on the day after the Saturday and you're laughing, sorry, we didn't know what was going on because I hadn't watched the episode then. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we will. Have you got any other thoughts on this? And
Yes, I'm excited for tonight's episode because it's the first time that we get to watch an episode live together.
it is, isn't it? Because usually I tend to be out with my band, sort of singing and things. So we're usually, I have to get you back home, don't we? And
Yeah.
you sit and watch it with your mum. Whereas tonight we're going to cuddle up, hopefully not get too scared, and watch Listen together.
Yeah, and hope for that there's no Miss Evangelistas in it.
That's right. Because that is your single most scary moment in Who history.
Yes, and you got creeped out of it.
Yeah. Well, it made me jump earlier on. We were watching something, weren't we? And the picture flashed up and we made us both jump.
Yeah, because it's freaky.
Yeah. Actually, perhaps we ought to use that as a topic for a future podcast when we look at the freakiest and scary moments that we've watched.
Yeah.
Perhaps we do that next week.
Yeah. As when we're doing the best
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, perhaps it'll be the worst things in terms of the scary worst.
Yeah, if we run out of best things to do, we could do worse things.
Yeah.
in the series. But I've got a few more things which we can do throughout the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, that probably moves us on. Have we got a quiz or question today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quiz or question?
Here we are. Quiz or question?
So, welcome to Quiz or Question. This feature is... What is this feature, Daddy Girl?
Well, basically, we have a look at questions or quizzes that have been sent in, and we have to determine whether we think it is a quiz, i.e. is there a right or wrong answer, or a question, is it looking for our opinion. We'll then determine which of the two we think it is, and we will give our best attempt to answer each.
So, if you have a question or a quiz that you would like to send in for us, just comment below and say #quiz or question. And don't tell us if it's a quiz, please. Well, you don't have to say #quiz or question. Just write it below what you want to do as a quiz or question for us, and it can be related to anything in Doctor Who or what we think will happen at the end of the series. It could be who we think Missy is. It could be if there's a monster you'd like to return in the final of the series, which could make it the most dramatic episode ever. Which monster would make it dramatic or something like that? You could.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
The first one we've got here says there was a lot of talk in the last series, including the Christmas special, around Time Lords and Gallifrey. Do we think this is going to come back in this series or not?
I don't think so, actually, because you were thinking that it was going to be like the story arc for Series 8 until you saw the end of Deep Breath and you saw Missy come into it. Because we didn't think Missy was going to be in it until the final.
No, sorry.
Dark Water, Death in Heaven. But,
Yeah, so...
oh wait, quiz or question first?
Sorry, that was would have been a question.
Yes, question.
So sorry, we've already answered that question now. I tend to agree with you. I think it's probably being saved. I think there'll be references to it, but it will be, assuming Moffat's still going to be writing for the next series.
He is.
I imagine he'll do something in series 9.
He's doing a lot, I think. But he's going. Well, if there was a plot you'd like to see based on Gallifrey, what would it be?
I think perhaps once the Daleks find out that it's still there,
Yeah,
that would be quite exciting. I mean, that would be something quite enjoyable for the Daleks, because we've said a few times that it's difficult thinking of new stories for the Daleks.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be a really brilliant one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd like to. Maybe it could be called realization of the Daleks or something. But also, I think there should be one when, because of the Doctor's darker side, he could betray the Time Lords by accidentally helping a guy which he thinks is a homeless guy or something, like Barney the Tramp, but he turns out to be the Master, and then he betrays the Time Lords, but he doesn't know he's betrayed them.
Could be.
Maybe something like that, where the Master comes back, because we've wanted the Master to come back.
Yeah. The next one we've got here is what do you think the Promised Land is? Is it?
Oh wait, yeah.
Is it a planet, or is it a mythical place?
Is that a quiz or a question?
I'd say it's another question.
Question exterminate. Okay.
What do you think?
I think it's a real place. I think heaven is a real place. Oh wait, maybe it might not be a real place, but it's a world created by someone, maybe the Master.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it should be like a place which is made, and the Doctor travels there one day to find out what the Promised Land is. And
if you can find it.
Yeah, if he can find it, then he goes there, and it says, well, when he gets there, he finds out that Missy's trapped in there, or as she's called, the gatekeeper of the Nethersphere in the episode. Going back to the Missy thing, just off topic, I was thinking the other day about Missy being called the gatekeeper of the Nethersphere, as Michelle Gomez's character is going to be called the gatekeeper of the Nethersphere. Do you think that's who she really is? Maybe it is someone new. Maybe it is her.
Yeah, it could well be a new character,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it is going to be the gatekeeper of the Nethersphere, not a old character coming back.
Yeah.
I hope it's an old character, but I don't think it will be.
Yes.
So, Promised Land, anything else about that?
No, I don't think so. I'd probably. I'm not really sure. To be honest, I haven't really got an answer for that one, because it's difficult. I mean, it looked like when you saw it on the TARDIS. Was it?
No,
it's in the robot spaceship. It looked there like it was a planet, didn't it?
Yeah, and
So,
do you think it will be mentioned in tonight's episode
yes,
as the Promised Land or as Heaven?
as the Promised Land.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some reference to it. Yeah.
What's your next quiz or question?
The next one. Do you think K9 will ever return?
Didn't we have that the other week? But let's have it.
Okay.
No, we didn't have it. I think it was like something to do with K9, but I don't think it was that.
It's a question.
Yes.
I would suggest.
Question. Yeah. What's the question again?
That's the thing. It takes so long actually doing the question, but yeah. Do we ever think that K9 will be in it?
Oh yes. Maybe it could be K9 Mark V. Do you think K9 will ever be in it?
No.
No. His story's probably ended.
Yeah.
He might be in the spin-off.
Yeah. I think that's probably more likely that they would use him. But even then, I think K9 isn't the big draw like he was during the Tom Baker series, where as a spin-off everybody loved K9. Alright, he had a little role in the Sarah Jane Adventures, but he's not like the big thing anymore.
He was in School Reunion a bit, but
yeah. I don't think he will. I don't think we'll see any more K9.
No, I don't think he's
Story
going to.
complete.
Because some stories Stephen Moffat says are complete, including The Master and River Song.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think some stories have to end at some point, and I think K9's story has now ended.
It's
So,
ended. Alas, it's ended.
Series 9, there might be an episode with K9, but I don't think there's one in Series 8. Definitely.
Okay. We've got one here which says, lots of talk about robots. Is Clara a robot?
No.
That's a question, by the way.
Oh yeah, question.
We get a lot more questions in quizzes, don't we?
Yeah. So I think no, she's not a robot. She's an impossible girl, and she's a leaf. I don't think she's a robot.
Yeah.
Who sent that in? Do you know?
No idea.
Okay. No offence to you, but it's a bit of a stupid question because I don't think she will be. If you heard me say that, and by the end of this in the Christmas special, she goes, "I am half-face," and then she turns out to be Peter Ferdinando, half-face.
I think it's probably a jokey question.
Yes, but
Okay, another question here.
Yeah.
Which is, which episode from the classic series would you most like to see Peter Capaldi's Doctor appear in?
is that a quiz, or is that a question, or is
It's
that
a question. The way things are going today, we might as well just call this section of the show Question.
Is that a question? Okay. Is that a question? Oh wait, yeah.
Question. So what do you think? You've forgotten the question, haven't you?
No, I haven't. It's
Okay.
Peter Capaldi, isn't it? What classic episode?
Yeah.
I'd like him to appear in the Twin Dilemma and make it good.
Yeah, actually, that's probably that's a good call, actually.
But what episode do you think he would be best in?
I mean, there's some episodes which would be, I think whoever it was would be very, very difficult to make them good. I still think the one with all the clowns in it.
Yeah, Greatest Show in the Galaxy, wasn't that?
I think whoever was in that, you know. I think,
Sylvester McCoy.
yeah, I think it could have Jesus in it and it still wouldn't be good. I think.
Yeah, that bit is a good guy. I like the bad guys, not the good guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, actually, your Twin Dilemma call was probably quite a good one.
Yeah.
So have we got any others?
Final one.
The final one.
There's one more left.
There's one more.
Yes.
Okay. Let's dig deep into the pot.
Okay.
And see what comes out of it.
Okay, just give us the question, please.
Which Doctor had the most companions? This is a quiz. I would suggest.
Quiz. I think it was probably Tom Baker. Next, Peter Davidson, because Peter Davidson had like 3 or 4 companions at once.
Yeah. I mean, I think what they're thinking of is more overall, not necessarily at one time. So, I mean, like for William Hartnell, he had a few, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he had 3 at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then he had Peter Purvis
Yeah.
at one point. And someone else, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, William Hartnell had like about 11 companions in total, I think. 9 proper ones, but like 11 like companions.
It's a difficult one to answer as well, isn't it? Because what constitutes a companion? So, for instance, would you include Richard Mace as a companion?
Would you include Jo in Day of the Doctor as a episode she appears in?
Yeah. So it's a difficult one, I think. So.
Would you include Sarah Jane as like a companion in? Yeah, but
because sometimes people come in for a story and they're sort of a companion for the story. I guess probably what the question is getting at is companions that were in there for a while that became regular companions in terms of travelling around the universe in the TARDIS.
So is that it for quiz or question?
I think that's it for quiz or question.
Remember, go comment below if you have any quizzes or questions.
We look forward to hearing from you.
If you have a quiz or question, that is, but Yeah, you can do it about anything. That could be about the new series, the new Doctor, the old series, the old Doctor, monsters, and anything Doctor Who related. Yeah.
So that's about it from us. I hope you enjoy listening tonight. Cuddle up with someone if you can.
Yes.
Because it's scary.
Remember, it's on 7:30
UK
tonight.
time.
Yeah, UK time. And if you don't get time to watch it tonight, if you're too busy watching The X Factor or you're feared of having nightmares, it's repeated tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's on BBC Three and on BBC Two really early in the morning at about 1:50, so 1:20 or something. But yeah, look it up on the Doctor Who website if you want to know more about the thing. So 7:30 tonight.
Okay, but we probably better go anyway, because otherwise our dinner will burn again.
Yeah. Next week we've got a listen what we thought of it.
Yeah, which would be the opinion. We'll have our usual roundup of news.
We'll have a preview for Time Heist.
We'll have quiz or question.
Probably.
Probably.
And also we'll have a best, maybe monsters or something.
Yeah, we'll think of a best of.
When we know a bit more about the episode, we'll look at a best of.
So we'll until then, enjoy yourselves.
Enjoy, listen, and remember, if you're watching the episode, if there's a knock on the door, listen carefully at the knock.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.